Hi friends, welcome to the course Proverbs Expressive English presented to you by me Amirtha Devrajan. Let's begin. Please read this in order to know me better. Let's begin with today's lesson. The first proverb is good friends makes good neighbors. This means that it is easier to be friendly with your neighbor if neither of you trespass upon each other's property or privacy. Well, imagine a situation when you're constantly at your neighbor's house and your neighbors are constantly at your place. Then there will come a point where both the parties will start to interrupt or disrupt each other's privacy, and they may interfere in personal matters, and they also may claim your property. This happens many a times. It is very common. So it is always important to make it's always important to maintain a fine distance from your neighbors, because they are the people whom you are living with, and you have to maintain your privacy. The wall has to be between, the fence has to be strong, and it has to be there. If you break off the fence, it's all one. So no privacy, no property, everything gets merged. So you have to keep that in mind. If you look at this picture, this fine fence between these two farms, which is segregating both the farms, and hence these two farmers are able to have this friendship. And if the wall and the fence is broken off, the farm will merge into one, and किसे क्या पता ये एक पार्ट किसका है या ये पार्ट किसका है, then the problem will rise कि ये तो मेरा farm है, ये तो मेरा वाला खेती है. So you see, good fence makes good neighbors. Let's look at the example. Jane says that the guy next door is letting his party guests wander across the lawn again. Alan, I guess we'll have to build a good fence there. Good fence makes good neighbors, like they say. So you see, just because they don't have a fence in their lawn, the guy next door is letting people wander in the lawn which belongs to the other person. So if you do not put a proper fence, I mean, not literally but also metaphorically, you have to tell them that this is my area. You have to maintain a fine distance, and you also have to let them know about your priorities. If you do not speak up, then you may have to face problems. So a literal and a metaphorical fence is important. Let's move on. Don't bite the hand that feeds you, meaning is do not criticize the person or organization that helps or pay for you. Well, many if a person if your guardian helps you through all your hard phases, lends you money, and does all that for you, and you're biting his hand, you're doing something back to him, that is really wrong, isn't it? You have to have some gratitude towards that person. So you cannot bite the hand that feeds you. You cannot go against or do something bad against the person who is giving a helping hand, who is reaching out to you. So let's look at the example. It is unwise to bite the hand that feeds you, but TV journalists need to tell the truth about the news business. So basically, they get their money from these business houses, because they pay them and tell them to mold the news in favor of them. But they have to realize that they are the media; they are responsible for people, and they are they stand between the government and people. So they have to do their job by communicating the right information. But these TV houses earn money from these business houses, so they cannot bite the hand that feed them. So they are in a dilemma, and I don't know what the solution for this. But yeah, this proverb applies in both the cases here. Now it's totally up to the pub. I mean, the house, the news house, what to do and what not to. Let's move on. It's always darkest before the dawn. This means that when things are extremely bad, it may signal that they are about to get much better. Well, if you have noticed and you were up at that time, anytime if you were up in the time when it's dawn and before dawn, if you notice when it's darkest, just after that dawn will come, and there's a signal that morning is about to come, and morning expresses happiness, it expresses enthusiasm, it expresses new day, new feelings, and hope. So, on the other hand, it is said that night and dark express something dark and gloomy, but it is not so, it's completely upon your perspective. So, if you notice that just after the phase when it's extremely dark, dawn comes and signals hope. So the meaning is that I just explained the meaning. This is the meaning that when things are extremely bad, it will get better. You just have to have the hope. Dawn will come after the phase when it's extremely dark. Let's look at the example. Jill says, I feel like giving up. I don't have a job. My boyfriend left me and they're raising the rent for my apartment. Jane says, it's always darkest just before the dawn. So you wait for that. You have been in that darkest phase. Now wait a little more. The signal for hope will definitely come. Some ray of hope will come. And then the morning in your life will come and your life will become enlightened. Okay, let's move on. Jack of all trades, master of none. One of my favorite proverbs personally. This means that if you're able to do a lot of things fairly well, you will not have the time to learn something extremely well. You won't be able to master something. If you're good at swimming, if you're good at cycling, running, racing, everything in all sports, and then you're good at studies, and that is quite possible. Well, if you are good at everything, like you're trying to becoming the best, you have to you're trying to become the jack of all trades, like music, studies, sports, and whatnot, dancing, and a number of things like that. Students do drawing, painting, everything. So you know everything, you know it fairly well, but you're not the master of everything. You're a mediocre painter, you're a mediocre singer, you're a mediocre average student, and you're a mediocre sports player. But you're not the master of anyone, because becoming a master of something requires all the efforts pointed towards it. I mean, if you want to score 100% or 90%, you have to study, study, and study. Maybe if you're intelligent enough, you can score without studying. I mean, you can just study a bit and do that. But if you're into basketball or volleyball, you have to practice continuously to become the master of it. But if you're trying to do so many things in order to become versatile, you end up becoming jack of all trades and master of none. If you look at this picture, this guy is trying to handle so many things: job, sports, clothes, laptop, whatnot. Also a baby. So he's a jack of all trades. Yes, he's able to handle everything perfectly, but he may not be the master. I mean, he's not the master person at what he's doing. He's not a very good father. He's not a very good person at his job. He's not a very good sports player. So he's jack of all trades. He knows it fairly well, but master of none. So it's better to become a master of one, because it becomes a part of your identity. And trust me, being jack of all trades adds no versatility or character. Let's look at the example. Jill says, I envy Bob. He can do so many things. He writes novels, paints pictures, makes sculptures, and even plays the dulcimer. Jane says, it's true he does a lot of things, but he probably doesn't do them all terribly well. A jack of all trades is a master of none. I hope this example is clear to you. Let's move on, guys. Let sleeping dogs lie. This means that do not instigate trouble. Leave something alone if it might cause trouble. Do not take the risk. If you know that something is in a still position, it's not giving you trouble, let it be like that. If you're trying to improve it and do something fun and you kind of instigate it, the problem might come up, and if you disturb the sleeping dog, it may come and bite you. So let it sleep and pass away. I mean, just pass the way quietly without disturbing it, so that your path doesn't get disturbed and your day doesn't get disturbed. So let's look at the example. Should I ask the boss if he's upset at my coming in late in the mornings? Jane says, if he hasn't said anything about it, just let sleeping dogs lie. I thought I would ask Jill if she wanted me to pay her back right away, but then I decided the sleeping dogs to lie. I'm sorry, I merged two examples here. I forgot to put a space. That's why it become problematic. I mean, confusing. What I tried to say in the first example is that if the boss is upset and he's not saying anything about it, let it be like that. Because if you ask him and he'll say, obviously, मुझे भी नहीं पता, and he gets all sarcastic and angry at you. Let sleeping dog lie. Whenever he thinks he has to wake up and tell you, he will do that. And the second example is when Jill says that I think I have to ask her to pay me right back. But I mean, if she says if she wanted me to pay her back right away, but then she said, nahi yaar, rehne deti hu. When she needs it, she'll ask herself, let the sleeping dogs lie. So guys, we come towards the end of the session. Don't forget the 3 R's: rate, review, recommend, share and comment. Please let me know your feedback. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. Awaiting your response eagerly. Have a nice day, guys.